Hello lovelies, welcome to another tutorial. Hello, if this is your first time seeing me on your screen, my name is Eva Christopher and I create content around fashion, mainly easy pattern drafting and sewing tutorials. So please hit the subscribe button and join the family. Thank you. In today's tutorial, we'll be learning how to sew women's straight pants like the one on your screen. It's so easy to make, trust me. All you have to do is just to follow the steps in the video and you will arrive at a wonderful result. We are going to start with the pattern drafting. Please note that this is a high waist straight pant. Okay, so when you're taking your measurement, take your measurement accordingly so that you'll be able to arrive at your desired result. So I have my measurements here. I have my crotch 11 inches. I have my waist 28 inches. I have my hips 39 inches. My thigh 24. My round knee is 18. And then the full length of my pants. So now I have already ruled out my waistline. That will serve as a guide for our waistline. So every other measurement we are going to take will start at the waist. So from my waist to 8 inches is my hip measurement. So I'm going to take 8 inches. That is from my waist down to 8 inches is my hip measurement. And then from my waist to 11 inches is my crotch measurement. Placing my ruler at the waist still, I'm going to come down by 17 inches. That is my knee line measurement. If you're taller, it should be like 18. If you're shorter, it should be like 16. So it depends on your height. Just take the measurements, okay? And then I'm going to take the measurement for the length of my pants. And then I'll go ahead to draw out the lines. So after drawing out the lines, I'm just labeling them: my waist, my hip, my crotch line, my knee line, and then the full length of my pants. After we are done with this, the next thing is to get my crotch curve. So I'll come to my crotch line and I'll go in by 2 inches. Please don't go in more than 2 inches at your crotch because you're going to have all those folds that sit around the front of your pants. So from there I took 11 all the way, I took 2 inches, all the way to my waist. And now I'm going to give it the curve. So from the crotch line, I'm going to go up by 1.5 inch. You can use your free hand to connect this, or you can use your pattern master. So after that, I'm going to input my measurements. So my waist divided by 4, that is what I'm going to put. You divide your waist by 4. I'm going to add my dart allowance 1 inch and then 1 inch for sewing allowance. I'll do the same for my hip. My hip divided by 4, 1 inch for sewing allowance because that will not extend there. So now I'm going to input my my thigh measurement at my crotch line. My thigh measurement divided by 2, not 4, because this is just the front pattern. So I'm going to add 1 inch for sewing allowance, and then I'm going to connect these lines. You can add more sewing allowance if you want. 1 inch is okay for me because I don't like excess fabric by the side of my pants after sewing. So that was why I took 1 inch. Now it's time to find the middle of our pants. So I'm going to measure what I have at my crotch line after taking my thigh measurement. So I have 13 inches there. I'm going to divide 13 inches by 2 and take it from the waist down to the hem. So 13 inches divided by 2 is 6.5. So from the waist, I'm going to take 6.5. Also at the hip line, the crotch line, the knee line, and down to the hem. These points I'm making, which is the middle of our pants, will enable us to impute our round knee measurement. Remember, how fitted or how loose your pant is at the knee is totally your decision. So I didn't want mine very fitted at the knee. That was why I took 18. Now I'm going to impute my knee measurement, which is 18 divided by 2. So you have to divide 18 by 2 because this is just my front pattern. 18 divided by 2, I have 9 inches. So I'm going to share that 9 inches, between those lines. So I took 4.5 inches on both sides, which is 9 inches. Then I added half an inch sewing allowance. Then at the hemline, you have to decide how straight or how full you want it. I wanted my everything to be 24, both the sewing allowance. So 24 divided by 2, I have 12. So I'm going to share that 12 between those lines. That is 6 inches on both lines. Then I'll go ahead to connect the lines. We are going to connect to our knee line like so, and then from there down to the hemline, and then we cut out our pattern. Next thing is to insert our dart. So from my waistline, I came down by, you can come down by 4.5 or lowest 5 inches. And then on both sides of the line, I took half an inch, and then I'm going to connect my dart and then use this pattern to cut out on my fabric. So here we have it. I've cut it out. As you can see, I'm just going to use this to cut out the back of our pants. Please don't forget to cut 2 pieces for the front panel. And for the back panel, I placed my front panel on my fabric. I'm sorry about the sharpness of this fabric. I reduced the contrast so that you see what I'm doing. So as you can see, at the top of my fabric, I left some space, and also at the side where I placed my crotch, I left some space. So from my crotch line, I'm going to go away. I'm going to take like 2 inches. If the person is big behind, you can take 2.5 or 3 depending on how big the person is. And then at the top, I'm going to take 1 inch. If the person is big, take 1.5 inch or 2 inches depending on how big the person is. So for me, 1 inch is okay for an average person. And then by the side of the crotch, I'm going to take 1 inch. If the person is big, please take up to 1.5 inch or 2 inches. But for an average person, 1 inch is okay. And at the top, 1 inch is okay. So I'm going to take 1 inch, as you can see me doing. I went up by 1 inch, and by the sides, I'm taking 1 inch as well. This is for an average person. If the person is big behind, you can take 1.5 to 2 inches. And at the crotch line, you can take 2.5 inches to 3 inches. But for an average person, 2 inches is okay for the crotch line. So I'm going to connect these lines. And to get our back waist measurement, I'm going to start my measurement from that 1 inch line that I came out from. You can see me place my tape there, and then I'm going to keep it like in a slanted form. I'll get my waist measurement, and then I'm going to add 1 inch for my dart, and then 1 inch for sewing allowance. So after I'm done with this, I'm just going to trace out my hip, my front hip, because I'm going to raise up this front panel. So now I set it aside. I'm going to connect down my waist, my back waist, to that hip line. I hope you understand. Please watch what I'm doing. The waist will not have an elastic band, so that is why we need the front and the back waist to be the same. So I've connected my waist to my hip line, and the next thing I'm going to do now is to connect that 1 inch that we came up from to my back waistline in a slanted manner, as you can see me doing. And at the knee line, I'm going to add 1 inch. And at the hem of my pants, I'm just going to add 1/2 inch. So I'll go ahead to connect these lines. And when I'm done, I'm just going to cut out my back panel. Don't forget to lift your front panel before you cut the waist of your back panel, like I did. Now go ahead to cut out the rest of the back panel. When I'm done cutting this, at my front panel, at the waist of my front panel, I'm going to come down by 1/2 inch and then connect the line in a slanted manner and cut it out. This is to enable my waistband sit properly at my waist without gaping. And then I'm just going to give a notch for my dart. So here are my front and my back panel. All I'm going to do is to go to the machine and join my 2 front panel at the crotch with 1/2 inch. Also do the same for the back. Now I've joined my front crotch with 1/2 inch. Also did the same for the back. For the back, I came down like 9 inches and I sewed like a loose stitch. I will loosen it later for my zip. I also sewed in my darts with 1/2 inch, both for the front and for the back. Now it's time to join both the front panel and the back panel at the crotch. So I'm going to align both stitches together, make sure they are aligned, and I'm going to join the front and the back with 1/2 inch from that crotch all the way down to the hem of my pants. So I've joined my front panel and my back panel at the crotch down to the hem of my pants. The next thing to do now is to join them by the sides. Remember, I gave just 1 inch for my sewing allowance. So I'm going to join my sides with 1/2 inch. I'm going to share the 1 inch, 1/2 inch on both sides. But if you're not too sure, you can still use your tape to manually input your measurement. Like I checked my waist, it gave me the exact thing and I still have my 1 inch remaining. So I'm going to share 1/2 inch on both sides. I hope you understand. And I'm going to go to the machine to join my pants with 1/2 inch. So I've joined my pants here. As you can see, the pants is coming out already. All I'm just going to do now is to go and attach my waistband. So you have to determine how wide you want the length of your band. So I'm just going to go to my machine. From the inside of my pants, I'm going to attach my band all around my waist. And when I'm done, I'm just going to flip it over and top stitch. So I've attached my band, as you can see. I've also attached my zip. The next thing I'm just going to do is to hem the bottom of my pants. And that is just basically all for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please, if you haven't subscribed up to this point, please do wait to subscribe and join the family. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next.